Welcome to Aired Out, brought to you by Capital Showplace Montpelier and Paramount Theater Barrie. At FGBtheaters.com, CW Print and Design in Barrie, at CWPrintDesign.com, Peak Entertainment, PeakDJ.com, Cruise Planners, your land and cruise experts. In Vermont, CruisePlanners.com, Donnybrook Fight Promotions of Williamstown, CBDCrave.com. Presented by CVTV, Public Access Channel 192 and 194, CVTV723.org, Fontaine Forestry and Millworks, Route 14 East Montpelier. Custom orders, rough, kiln dry, plain, tongue and groove, or shiplap. FontaineMillworks.com and Fly on the Wall Productions. Now, let's get aired out.
And a good Wednesday night. We have some showers that are starting to push through the region, going to overspread pretty much all of Vermont within the next hour or two. Very good evening. I am JD Green. You've got Aired Out, and I have a really, really cool guest that I'm going to bring onto the microphone here in the camera in just a little bit. Just watching more carefully here what Roger Hill is saying. We have some sun tomorrow and some clouds, a little bit less humid. 75 degrees for the daytime high. Nice this time of year. Mid-70s again on Friday. A little bit of morning sunshine, and then some clouds coming in. Hurricane warnings now in place for the U.S. Virgin Islands as Tropical Storm Dorian continues its trek. We have hurricane watches and warnings that are in place for Puerto Rico right now. Shared some pictures of this earlier on social media today. National Hurricane Center says the latest advisory has Dorian with maximum sustained winds 70 miles an hour with gusts as high as 90. So this hurricane could be hitting Florida as a strong hurricane if the track continues where it is headed. Hey, the Red Sox, Jackie Bradley Jr., Christian Vasquez, and Alexander Bogaerts all homered to power the Red Sox to a 10-6 win at Colorado last night. Brock Holt and J.D. Martinez each drove in 2 runs for Boston, which led 10-2 in the 7th. Rick Porcello got his 12th win. Red Sox and Rockies going to wrap up their brief 2-game series tonight at Coors Field. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to get the ball for Boston tonight. Patriots, they're gearing up for their final preseason tune-up. They're going to host the Giants tomorrow night at Gillette Stadium. Been an interesting preseason so far. We've got news out of the Patriots camp. Rob Gronkowski, who of course retired about a year ago, says that he's basically endorsing the whole CBD craze right now and trying to enjoy his life pain-free. And I can't remember the name of the company that he is teamed up with, but he is partnering up with a major CBD company and is also advocating for medical marijuana. Rob Gronkowski. Cowboys, they held their final open practice in Frisco. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, Zeke, working out with Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, is where they are busy sweating and getting ready for the football season. And that's what we're focusing on tonight. I have next to me one of my best friends who I have been so excited and anxious to have on this show since basically January. Frankie Allen, everybody, the fabulous Frankie Allen.
Nice to be here, JD.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I love the studios.
Isn't this great?
Now, I'm just wondering, when you introduced me, is there like a band playing, like, Paul Schaefer and the band?
Well, Billy's going to add that in later.
The theme song? Okay.
Yeah.
I just making sure that we have a big intro.
Oh, no, there will be a fanfare.
Okay. All right.
So, speaking of Billy, by the way, you met my producer,
Yes,
Billy.
I did.
The poor guy. Did you see his window? It's knocked out of the side of his car. He's got the plastic and the duct tape going out.
He was covering it up, though, as we were getting ready for air. So
I know.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh, maybe if you paid him more. I
don't know.
Here's
the thing. Billy, Billy's going to be in here real soon. He's got a podcast kind of in his pocket that he's working on right now. But anyway.
Super.
I'm so happy that you're here.
Nice to be here.
This is so great.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, for a long time.
And
since-
congratulations on
Thank
Air It
you.
Out. It's a terrific program, and boy, the gamut. You get everybody, don't you?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Good for you.
It's been amazing so far.
Great.
I don't know how many shows I've gotten in can. I want to say 60,
Wow, that's great.
somewhere right around there, 60. Something
And
like
how
that.
long have you been?
Since January.
Beautiful.
Since January.
Keep going.
Well, it's
brother.
Tony Campos, man, and Abubakar.
Good
and,
guy. Yeah.
And Billy.
Mhm.
You know, these are the people that they're behind the scenes, and they're the ones that make it all possible.
Right.
You know, without these guys, I mean, this, you know, I might be doing this at home.
It's a great studio. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. super.
So when you look at Frankie, this is exactly why this guy's been in radio so long, and
Well,
not
yeah.
television.
Right. Well,
I'm
we've
just saying.
we've both had our stints in radio.
So-
I'm still in radio.
Yes.
Just moved to another division on the sales side.
So you got in radio in the early '80s.
Yeah, I got into radio. It was 1985,
Okay.
right in that area.
And
Yeah.
you were in Albany, New York.
I was in Scranton, PA.
Scranton.
Actually, the first radio station I worked at was in a little town called Canton, PA,
Okay.
which was near Williamsport. If you know Williamsport, Little League World Series, home of the Little League World Series, close to Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
That was my first stint, and then I went to Scranton and worked for a couple of stations there.
All right.
Then went to Albany, hooked up with a company called Sage Broadcasting.
And that's a big market. That
Albany
a
was pretty
jump.
big, yeah. Yeah, they were pretty. They used to buy radio stations in medium markets and small markets and make them medium market radio stations. They would upgrade the towers and the signals and try and hit the medium market in that area. That's what the company did. And they bought a station in Stowe in 1989. And that's when I moved up here
To Vermont.
to Vermont, yeah, 1989.
God, the year I graduated from.
So
high
we're,
school.
what, 30 plus years
Yeah.
here in Vermont? Yeah.
Well, I got started in radio in '89 in Vermont. So 30 years in the business for me.
Right.
But you've got.
I got about 34, I think.
I was
going to
say
34, 35.
somewhere,
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
in there.
in that area.
And
Yeah.
you're still in radio.
Still doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
when you went to the station in Stowe, which was Classic Hits 101.7.
Right, right.
God, there's so many rockers out there that remember that station.
Yeah, 101.7. Yeah.
101.7.
Yeah, it was.
You were the program director.
Yeah, I was hired as the music director in the beginning. We had a change of management, and I became the program director. I want to say 1990, 91 in that area, and was program director until it was sold in 1997.
So in 1994-ish, could have been 95, there was a knock at the door at the station. You were there late one night working.
Yeah, right.
It was me. At the time, I was homeless, and
Yeah,
I asked you for a job.
right. You walked up the steps.
See, Billy thinks we're goofing him. Right
No,
now.
I mean, in another city, in Albany, New York, would I let somebody walk up the steps and just
Yeah,
come?
no.
Probably not. But still, Vermont, a little bit safer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you came up and said that you wanted to get into radio. I think you had some public radio experience.
Yes.
In Connecticut.
Well, yeah, I had already
Right.
been working in radio, Connecticut Public Radio, and
Right.
a few other stations.
Now I didn't know you were homeless until you told me you were living in a tent somewhere. But yeah.
Smelled the campfire. I think I had a little
You
beard
did.
going.
You smelled the campfire.
Yeah.
But you had potential. I saw potential there, and I asked you if you could do the overnights, right? But I asked you if you could find a place to live
Correct.
before. I said get a permanent address, and then we can talk more.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So you went, well, I don't know, stumbling down the steps or falling down the steps.
I
and-
fell down the steps
Yeah.
because I was so excited.
Yeah.
True story. When I left, I shook your hand and I
Right.
closed the door, and I was like fist bumping, and I slipped and fell down the stairs.
Yeah, there were long steps
Yeah.
down to the outside. Yeah. Yeah.
There's folks out there that are probably watching and listening right now saying, why would you have been so excited to possibly work in radio full-time overnight? This was back in the day when there wasn't any voice tracking.
Right.
When you were on the air?
We were live 24/7
We were live
for a
24/7.
small radio station in a small town.
Right.
That's really unheard of. But it was local. It's local
Local.
community radio, and
Right.
we had to staff it 24/7.
Yeah.
So I needed, people who were eager to get into radio
Right.
to do those shows.
Yes.
Get your feet wet.
Make
Make
some
make the mistakes, learn,
Yeah.
And then hopefully, somewhere down the road you would, move up the ladder, so to
Right.
speak, and maybe do another show, another shift.
Sure.
But it was hard to find young, enthusiastic people
Right.
to do overnights because it's a
course.
different kind of feel. It's a different show.
Yeah.
But I was lucky. I found some really good people like you. And look what you went on to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you did Mornings Forever for
Froggy.
another
Yeah.
radio group. I had people who have come in and worked at other radio stations, gone into other markets.
Yeah.
Same as you, walked in off the street. Marion Carroll,
Marion Carroll.
another great voice.
Yeah.
Walked in off the street.
Newton Wells.
Newton Wells, another one.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of good people walk through that door.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then it was sold in 1997. and
Ken Squire.
Ken Squire, and I hooked up with the Radio Vermont group, and I've been with them ever since.
Yeah. So when Squire bought Classic Hits 101.7,
Yeah.
it was his old WRFB.
Correct, but he had sold that to another. When I came aboard, it was owned by a group called Justice Broadcasting.
Okay.
So he had already gotten. Their RFB was already
So
gone for this
he
group.
was he took the 101.7 frequency, turned it classical,
Correct.
brought it
Yeah.
to Waterbury,
Right.
and put it in the same building, the studios in the same building as WDEV.
Right. We were actually in a little shopping center on the Mountain Road.
Yeah.
There used to be a place that's not there anymore, but it was the Mountain Cheese and Wine Shop, which
Yeah.
was on the bottom. We were upstairs, right above them,
Right.
where the studios were. And when he bought it, we stayed there for about a year.
Yeah.
And then because he owns the other building, he
Sure.
decided to move us
Of course.
down to Waterbury, Stowe Street. Yeah.
So it was a classical station for 16 years,
About 17.
17 years.
97 to 2014. Yeah.
and you were programming that, and
Correct.
then what happened? And all this while, you and I still remained friends together.
We did.
And then, and then I worked for WDEV.
Right. We're in the same building for a
We
little
were in
while.
the same building
right?
for a little
yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And doing nights there, and then Froggy was born in 2000.
Right.
So I left WDEV. I went to Froggy.
For how many years?
16.
See, there you go. So
16 years doing the
Yeah.
morning
yeah.
show.
But
You
we
and I-
always kept in touch.
we always stayed
Always
in
kept
touch.
in
We were
touch,
always
yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And then 101 The One
Mm-hmm.
was born.
Right. Right.
So you flipped from classical back to essentially the same format of Classic Hits 101.7.
Very close. It was almost full circle for me. Yeah. I mean, we might have been a little bit ahead of our time back in the Classic Hits days before Ken Squire bought
Right.
it. Maybe the music wasn't quite right. The demographics weren't quite there yet.
Yes.
So we might have been a little early.
Yeah.
When the One signed on, it was the right time. And
Yeah.
we kind of brought the same music back a little bit. It was classic hits,
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, a little bit of 90s.
And some hardcore album
And some
cuts.
album cuts. We wanted to bring back the album cuts of those popular albums that we all grew up with and that we
Yeah.
all have in our record
Sure,
collections.
of course.
And when FM radio started, people forget, FM radio needed to compete with AM radio
Yeah.
because AM radio was the king. But AM radio just played the hits. It was the
Right.
pop hits. FM radio came on board when the late 60s, early 70s. They needed to be different. So they would take, other songs from the album besides the hit. And that's how FM radio was born.
B-side.
So we went back to that where it was a combination of the AM gold stuff that was played on AM radio
Yeah.
combined with the FM album tracks that was
Yeah.
on early FM radio.
Right.
And that's what the One became.
That is such
Yeah.
a unique
Yeah.
philosophy of programming. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really who's doing that?
Well, no one's doing it. And
No one's doing
we
it.
added about 3,000. I mean, now you're starting to see these stations pop up on satellite radio where they're calling it yacht rock.
Yacht
That's
rock.
kind of what we were starting to do.
Michael McDonald,
Yeah. Pablo Cruz.
Pablo Cruz,
Artists that were not on the radio.
Sure.
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia.
A very, very long time, and album cuts that hadn't seen the light of day since the early FM days.
course.
You'd hear the Jackson Brown stuff from his first couple of albums.
Right.
You would hear Fleetwood Mac album cuts.
Yeah, album cuts.
Hypnotized.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Eagles album cuts from Hotel California. Everybody's heard Hotel California.
Sure.
Have you heard The Last Resort on the radio in a while?
Right.
Probably
exactly.
not. 7-minute
Not on
track.
the radio.
Hard to do.
Right.
We didn't care.
But exactly, you
Right.
didn't care. I remember radio in the late 70s in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was similar to what the
One was, yeah.
what the One is doing.
It's the same where I grew up in Scranton. I mean, we had FM stations, but you would hear the album track. That's how
Yeah.
I heard all these songs from the album. Then I would go out to the local record store,
Buy 'em.
which we don't have anymore, unfortunately, and
Right.
buy the album.
Yeah.
The early the Journey stuff.
Oh yeah.
All the besides the hits.
Yeah.
The album tracks.
It's so exciting. You're so passionate about programming. And I had always said, all of these years, I mean, ask Newton Wells how many times he has heard me say, I hope to end my radio career maybe someday where I started it in Vermont, which is with Frankie Allen. And that's exactly what happened.
I think we were fortunate. I don't think you get to do that in the radio career, especially the longevity that we've both had in radio.
Right.
On the programming side.
Sure.
Because, stations are bought and sold, and usually, staffs change.
Yes.
We were able to somehow stay in the biz, go with the flow, adapt to the new changes. And the opportunity came up where I needed a morning guy for 101 The One, and you were ready. You were ready to make a change.
Yeah, I left Froggy.
Right.
I joined up with you,
and we did it
a couple of years ago.
You're right.
And then I've since left and started my podcast here.
Right.
And now you've had some changes too.
I have. After 30 plus years in programming, 22 years in programming with the Radio Vermont Group, an opportunity came up for me to do full-time sales in a market where I live. I know all the properties. I've been on the air on all the radio stations, WDEV, WLVB,
all of them,
and the One.
And you've done everything.
I know the audience. I know I know the clients now who I'm seeing because I live in that area.
Of course.
So it was a win-win. I mean, our sales person who was taking care of the accounts retired, basically moved. They sold their house, and their daughter lives out in Wyoming.
Sure.
And he wanted to be near his daughter and the grandchild. Right. So they asked me, and I thought, you know what? I think it might be time for a change. I still love radio, but I like a different opportunity.
Do you miss it?
I have not yet, JD, which is interesting. I thought I would. I do not miss, because there's a freedom that goes along with sales a little bit.
Sure.
And instead of being behind the mic and talking to all these people like I used to, I now get to be in front of them.
Sure. As
clients and as a sales rep and talk to them.
Yes.
And they still see the passion for radio.
Yes.
But they see it face to face now.
Right.
Which I love talking to people.
Yeah.
Whether it was in the studio or in front of people. It's that connection with the people that I really like.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm having a great time right now, and I'm not missing it yet, but I'm sure I will.
So now we have Zeb Norris,
right,
who's the morning guy on 101 The One.
Correct.
So he's taking the wheel now.
And people might know him from The Point.
From The Point.
Right. So he became available. We needed kind of a seasoned guy.
Yes.
Not that, it's hard to replace me, but, you don't want somebody who's just getting into the business. So he was a seasoned guy. He knows the format. He knows the music.
Yes.
He was ready for a change. That allowed me to switch positions and bring somebody in that we didn't have to train.
How so many of us in this radio business have been sitting, in one place, kind of going down the same road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to say stagnant, because that's not what I'm thinking. That's not the right word.
Right.
But
it becomes routine.
We've all been not stuck, but we've all been going down the same road. And then all of a sudden, in the last 5 years, there's been
a lot of change.
There's been a lot of uprooting and upheaval,
especially on the programming side in the market.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we have disc jockeys either leaving or getting fired.
Yeah. Stations consolidating and cutting staff.
Consolidation, and technology has really been a play.
It has.
It's affected this industry big time.
Yeah, it has.
The thing that's so great about stations like The Point, Star 92.9, 101 The One, is they're live disc jockeys in there.
Live and local, yeah.
Live.
Yeah. It's hard to replace it. I know that, technology is forcing a little bit of that, but
right.
Our owner, our Ken Squire, he's very adamant about giving back to Vermonters, giving back to the community, and the only way to do that is to have live people.
Of course.
You can't do it with a computer. So I mean, I give him credit. He's hanging on, and we're trying to keep as many people live at the radio station as we can for the group.
So when there's breaking news or whatever, we know about it right away.
We break in
like we did, like 101 that it did, and DEV when we had the big accident in the interstate the other morning.
Right,
close the interstate.
Break in and you do it.
Right.
Yeah, because you have to. Radio still needs to be local, and it affects people's lives.
Big time.
So, we got to make sure that we continue to let people know what's going on in their backyard, so to speak.
Right.
And that's what local radio does. So.
Of course.
bigger cities. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the bigger cities. I would think that being in Vermont, things happen a little bit slower, and hopefully local community radio will be around for a lot longer.
Yeah. So here we are, almost September. You're a big football guy. The NFL is going to commence with their next season here in a couple of days.
Yeah.
What is it? Right after? Is it
Right after Labor Day?
Day?
Right after Labor Day is the 2nd, and then they start playing that Thursday. Thursday night football is the first.
Thursday night football.
Yeah. I'm a little impressed by all that Rob Gronkowski stuff you're throwing out there. CBD and.
Well, no, I screwed up a little bit of it, but I've got some more here.
Wow.
So why don't you get your props and I'll tell you.
How do you know I have props?
I know you got props.
I want to make sure that we're, when we're talking about.
You came in here with the props. Billy saw the props. We all know. Don't try to hide anything.
We're gonna put this prop right next to you.
We know you got props, buddy.
Yeah. No, if we put that, can Billy see that? Can we put
Of course
that
he
in?
can.
Yeah, so that's,
Of course he can.
See what that says?
I see that. That's the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, here you go.
Oh my God! Please,
Football.
really?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
my
I
God.
know. I'm sorry. I'm off the mic here, but this is a football signed by Daryl Johnston. Do you know who Daryl Johnston is?
Yeah, it was the number 48.
Because it says
stupid?
48. Yeah,
You think I am?
He was the fullback for Emmitt Smith. You know who Emmitt Smith is?
I know them. Smith.
Okay. Do you know that Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher of the NFL?
Did not know that.
Okay, he is. Daryl Johnston signed this. Okay.
How did you get that signature from him?
A friend of mine who was a big Cowboy fan, he was at a speaking engagement.
Okay.
Got it signed for me.
All right.
And you can't. If you're going to be talking about fantasy football,
Jesus.
you've got to have a fantasy football magazine.
Oh,
Okay.
my God.
This is a these are all over the place. They come out in about June or July. I mean, obviously the information is very. It's old. It's not new information.
Yeah.
But in the old days of fantasy football, before the internet, JD,
This was the Bible.
this is the Bible.
Okay.
This is what you needed to look at. Even though the information was old, it's the only information we had. Okay.
Show it on
So,
camera.
so I did. That's one of these fantasy magazines that you can get. Probably one of about, I'd say, 10 or 15.
Do you subscribe?
Oh no, you just go
Where do
to
you get them?
You can, plenty of. You can get them at Price Chopper.
Oh, really?
Hannaford's. You go down to Barnes and Noble.
Never seen
Got
them.
a whole rack of them.
Never seen them.
Oh, never seen them?
No.
Who's that on the front, JD? Saquon Barkley.
Is that?
Oh, the New York
Oh,
Giants.
okay. I was
All right.
thinking
So
that
anyway,
might have been. him.
this used to be the Bible back in the day, but now we have internet.
Yes.
Now we get up-to-date information.
So let's give some kudos to your fantasy football team.
Oh, okay, we're gonna do that. I just want to
Oh, my
okay,
God,
put
another-
that right there so everybody can see that.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Your fantasy football team.
My fantasy football team. We're going to talk about fantasy football. I don't know when fantasy football started, JD, but I will tell you that our league, it started in Stowe. It started the year that I came.
What's the name of the league?
Right? Stowe Fantasy Football League.
Stowe Fantasy Football
Yeah.
League.
Came in 1989, as we referenced earlier, to Vermont. I had been in a league in Pennsylvania. A friend of mine had started it. Tried to start a league. He had heard about fantasy football somewhere. We tried to get a couple of guys together in Pennsylvania back in 1985, somewhere around there, 86. I was still in PA. And we did it, we tried to draft play. We really didn't know what we were doing. That was my first taste of what fantasy football was supposed to be. I come to Vermont in 1989. I'm working at WRFB. There's a nightclub in the same complex.
Yeah.
Thank you, called BK Clark's
Okay.
at the time. A guy who worked there and owned it with another gentleman, Kenny Rubin and Mark Hensel, owned it. He comes running. He used to work part-time at RFB. He comes running. I'm doing a show. I'm doing my afternoon show. I was hired for afternoons at RFB. He comes running over. It's nothing to come over to the radio station. He sits down in front of me, across from me,
Oh yeah.
and we start talking football. And I'm, playing a couple of records here and there, a couple of CDs. And he says, have you done anything about fantasy football? I had known these guys because I had been, gotten to know people in Stowe, and I'd been over to their establishment a few times for happy hour, things like that.
Right.
So I got to know Mark, and he came over and says, do you know anything about fantasy football? I said, as a matter of fact, I do. I was in a league in Pennsylvania. It wasn't really a league. It was a couple of guys. And I said, so I kind of know what you're talking about. He says, we want to start one in Stowe. I said, I said, you could probably help us with rules and stuff, right? I said, yeah, I could help you put something together. So there were about 3 or 4 other guys that were interested in putting this together. There were about 5 of us that are still in the league now, and we're going into our 31st year. 31 years. And there's 5 original members of that group, and I'm one of them.
So to be in a fantasy football league, what is this? It's a club. It's a club. Are you betting amongst yourselves?
We are betting. I mean, we call them franchise fees. You know, once you're in the fantasy football league, you usually have a team name.
Okay.
And then you have to pay a franchise fee.
Okay.
As a team owner, and everybody pays a franchise fee, and that money goes into a big pool, and then you have payouts throughout the year, either each week, and then of course, you know, you play the other teams in your league, so you have a playoff, you have a championship game, and then you have, you know, prize money that you give out, and it's become, you know, you can win a lot of money in our league now. I mean, back in the day it wasn't very lucrative, but now it's a bit lucrative. Yeah.
What are we talking about for money when you say that? When you say that it's been lucrative?
Okay,
I mean,
our league now, it costs and our league has not changed. We have the same teams there's 14 teams in our league.
Okay.
Most fantasy football leagues have, you know, depending on it's either 10, 12, or 14.
All right.
We have the max 14.
Okay.
We've had it that way for probably, I want to say, I mean, we haven't changed a team in our league in maybe 20 years or so. So once they get in it, you can't get out. No, you can get out if you know you don't want to be in it anymore. But we haven't had a lot of change. Not a lot of turnover is what I'm getting at in our league. So we basically have the same teams that we've had for a long time. We have raised the franchise fee over the years. Now, 31 years ago, it wasn't what it is now.
I mean, do you have to be registered as a nonprofit or
No,
for-profit?
No. It's just a bunch of.
No, is this legal?
Sure, it's legal.
How's it legal?
Why isn't it legal?
I don't know. I'm asking you right now.
You can bet online. You can bet sports online now, right?
I don't know.
Sure you can.
Tell me. I mean,
Sure you can.
they just
So it's $275 to get a franchise fee. Is our franchise fee. So each team in our league, there's 14 teams.
Okay.
$275 each team.
All right.
Okay. So what I don't have a calculator. I don't know what that is, but anyway, we pay out $60 a week. For $60, if your team scores the highest points that week, you get prize money.
Wow.
Yeah, each week for 17 weeks. At the end of the year, you know, whoever's left you get prize money based on how far you go in the playoffs. So all the money that those franchises pay, that $275, all comes back to hopefully teams that, you know, have won in the playoffs or have won a championship or have won a weekly outing.
You guys take this pretty seriously.
Well, you know, it was in the beginning. It was about the money. Now it's not. It's more about, we all say we just want to win the championship. We want the trophy.
Oh, there's
it's more about bragging rights. Oh yeah, we have 3 trophies. Oh yeah, there's 3 trophies. There's the trophy for the championship team. Okay, and that's like a big bowl, and then we've got plates that tells you each year a team has won it. We've almost filled up the 4 sides of the trophy because we've been around so long.
You ever taken a sip from the bowl?
Oh yeah, we used to in the beginning. We can't anymore. Not really sanitary. I'm going to tell you, the tradition in the beginning was whoever won the championship
had to drink everything in the bowl.
The bartender gives us a mix of whatever shots. You know, you just keep pouring in the big bowl, in the big trophy, and everybody drinks out of the bowl. Championship, yeah. Probably not. It's like drinking out of your helmet when you're a football player back in the day. Yeah.
No.
You'd never do that now. So we stopped doing that a long time ago.
I see here sports wagering revenue has fallen short of expectations in many states that quickly legalized it after the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way with a ruling last year. The tax rates range widely among states. Pennsylvania set at 36%. That's 4 times of neighboring New Jersey, and Iowa is near the bottom at 6.75%. So
anything on Vermont?
No.
Okay.
Nothing on. But I guess there's some. I guess regulators are working on sports wagering rules in Illinois now, which legalized it in June. Haven't set a date for it to begin, but isn't it funny that all this is coming out and you guys are like, "Yo, we've been doing this for 31 years."
Yeah, I mean, you know, it'd be like if I bet you
Yeah.
$10 on the Red Sox game. And it's just So yeah, it's really, it's about. We enjoy it. I think it's actually helped the NFL over the years. You can't turn on TV now
Right.
without seeing some sort of fantasy football stats.
Yes.
They do it on the regular networks.
Seen it.
You see it scrolled on the bottom.
You see it scrolling.
They have shows, pregame shows on Thursdays before the game, on Sundays before the game. Every network that has football has some sort of fantasy show.
Yeah, isn't that
That tells
something?
you how popular it's become. It's probably helped the NFL in its popularity. It had to.
Yeah.
It had to.
Sure. More people.
All over the country now they play fantasy football.
Right.
So, and every website has a fantasy. You can do it. You can do it for free on the internet.
Right.
And
not to be sexist, but the guys are pulling in their wives and girlfriends.
Oh,
to watch
sure.
the
There's
games now.
there's a lot of women who play fantasy football.
More than it seems in the past.
That could be, but
It seems that way.
I've been on some internet fantasy football. We always do the Stowe League, but every once in a while, so a friend will have an internet league, or my nephew might have an internet league, and his wife's in it, and somebody's girlfriend's in it, and we play, and that's we just do that for fun. But,
Do you taunt each other a little bit? Tease each other?
The guys in the Stowe League will do it a little bit. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time, so it's just fun ribbing.
Right.
But
So your team has always been the Cowboys. You've been a Cowboys fan since you were
I
a
was
kid.
6, 7 years old. Well, we bonded as a family. My dad was a big football fan.
Right.
He had 4 brothers and a sister.
Sundays at the Frankie Allen household, we're watching football.
Yeah, we would bond as a family, especially Dad and my sister too. So we kind of bonded as a family. And
was
watched
Dad
football.
in the recliner?
It's funny you're talking. No, Dad was in the recliner, but he had a special football chair, and my mother couldn't believe that he would take, back now. We're talking back in the 70s here. He would take a chair from the porch. Those old
Wicker?
No, it wasn't even. It was the old porch, like beach chairs. With the straps. The fold out chairs with the straps.
Yes.
He'd bring one of those from the porch. He'd sit it right in the middle of the living room in front of the TV. That was his football chair, and he broke many of those. Because he'd wiggle around, because he'd get excited. When the Steelers were playing, because we grew up in Scranton, or the Philadelphia Eagles were playing, and he'd wiggle around. He'd break the chair. My mother would yell at him, and he'd go out and buy another chair. And in the summertime, it would sit out on the porch. In the wintertime, it would come inside, and that would be his football chair.
Oh my God!
It was great. Yeah, and
What
we'd all congregate around the TV and watch football. Yeah.
And he gets some Italian cooking going.
Oh yeah, Mom would make spaghetti and meatballs on Sunday.
And what was Dad drinking?
Yeah. Well, iced tea for the most part, but every once in a while, Jenny was the big beer.
Cream
back then.
ale.
Cream ale. Jenny Cream ale.
my
What else
God.
do we have? We had Jenny Cream ale. PBRs.
Yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Yeah. But my dad wasn't a big, it wasn't the big, let's drink football or let's drink beer and watch football.
Right.
It was more about just, let's watch football.
So here you are.
Even
now.
my sister was a football fan. She, she raised her family. She got married and raised her family in upper state New York, where they're all Buffalo Bill fans.
Yeah.
So she was also a football fan.
So
and her kids are fans.
So, how come it wasn't the Eagles for you?
I was a kid, and everybody, I didn't follow the home teams. I saw the Dallas, I saw the Star, Cowboys and Indians kind of thing. A kid loves Cowboys. I saw the Star and the helmet.
Yeah.
I liked the names of the players at the time. They had this one guy called Bob Hayes, and they called him the fastest human because he was a track star.
Oh.
And he had won. He was called Bob Bullet Hayes, and he was a wide receiver. And I thought that was cool. Roger Staubach, the comeback kid. Just the names and the star and the helmet, and I just became a Cowboy fan.
Wow.
And I've been following them ever since. Yeah.
So here you are today. You have the Cowboys, the Cowboys teddy bear.
That was one bear. I do have another bear that a friend gave me that has an actual cowboy helmet on its head. I didn't want to bring that and get it.
Yeah, you don't want to
I don't
want to
ruin it. Yeah,
anything could happen.
Because football
You never
season is
know.
right around the corner. You don't want anything to happen. Yeah.
So you have, let's see, let's run it down now. We have the slippers.
You gotta write all these down.
I've got it right there.
Slippers.
I've
How
got
do
it
you
right
know I
here.
have the slippers? I didn't wear the slippers tonight.
You have Cowboy slippers, and you know
I
it.
do have cowboy slippers.
You have the bath mat.
Nope, bath mat. Don't have it anymore.
You have the shower curtain.
Nope, long gone.
Floor mats for your
Don't
car.
have the floor mats. Just bought a new car.
You've got several different calendars.
Used to have the cowboy cheerleader calendar. My sister-in-law didn't like that. Told me to get rid of it.
You have the toothbrush holder.
Do not have the toothbrush holder. I'll tell you what I will. I'll tell you
Blanket?
what I have
I've
had.
seen the blanket.
The blanket is still around. The
Bathrobe?
The cats like the blanket.
What about the bathrobe?
Don't have a bathrobe. I'm going to tell you what I do have and what I've had in the past. My brothers would get me something either music-related every year for Christmas or sports-related. Sports-related, of course, would be a Cowboy because I'm a Cowboy fan. I have had a Cowboy wallet. You find that funny? You think that's funny? I have had
Wait, was it Velcro?
It was Velcro. I have had a Cowboy keychain.
Okay.
I have had a Cowboy poncho. Trying to think of what else I've had a Cowboy.
You're so
I don't
sad.
know. I don't know what else. Well, it's in. They're gifts. What do you?
Serious question. Have you ever had Cowboy underwear?
No.
Come on,
No.
Frankie.
Cowboy socks.
But not underwear?
No.
Or underoos or anything
No,
like
did
that?
they make them?
Oh, of course they do.
No. Never had that. Underoos?
Yeah. No Cowboys boxers or anything?
No, they
like
never went that far. Yeah.
that? Really? But a
Socks.
hat, though. You got
Socks.
the hat.
Remember the hat? Remember
Yeah,
the
if
winter
you-
hat? I got the winter hat.
Where's the hat?
I didn't bring the hat. I
Oh.
forgot the hat. I could have brought more stuff. I don't know. I didn't know how much room you had.
I got plenty of room.
Well, now I know that, but I could have,
Mugs.
I've had mugs, shot glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, beer mugs, coffee mugs.
I swear I saw a toothbrush holder
Don't-
over at your house.
No,
I swear I did.
I think you're fibbing right now.
And I know I've seen the slippers at some
Yeah.
point.
I do still have the slippers.
Do you wrap yourself up in the Cowboys
No.
blanket with the slippers?
No, I
to
leave
watch
the
game?
no, I leave the blanket on the couch now.
Okay.
I thought we were going to talk about fantasy football. We're talking about me.
What was-
I leave the blanket because the cats like it. The cat. You know what I do on Sunday? I tell the cats it's football Sunday, boys.
What do?
They jump on the Cowboy
They
blanket.
get right in there?
They get in there. I said it's game day, boys. It's
So what?
fantasy football day, boys.
Now, what do you say? What do you say to the individual that's watching who's a football fan who says, in their mind right now, they're saying, Frankie,
Guys, wacko.
the Cowboys fumble.
Fumble. Sorry about that. Oh well. I want that back, by the way. That's it. Johnston.
What to whoever says to you, Frankie, the Cowboys suck.
Well, they had good years and bad years. I mean, yeah. I don't. That doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, do they suck right now? I mean, did they suck last season?
no, they made the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a stretch in the 1970s. They were really good. They had won they had 21 winning seasons in a row.
Okay.
They hit a bad stretch in the 80s where they did stink and suck. And then they were, back in the 90s, they won 3 Super Bowls with Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, the triplets they called them, Michael Irvin.
How many Super Bowls?
3 in the 90s.
In the 90s?
Yeah.
You must have been going out of your mind.
And then they were kind of teetering between a playoff team and not so good with Tony Romo.
Yeah.
And then recently they got a little bit better. They got a new quarterback, Dak, and you mentioned Zeke. Dak Prescott is the quarterback, and
Yeah.
Zeke,
Yeah.
who's holding out right now.
Right.
But so they were a playoff team last year. They've been kind of mediocre, probably the last 20 years or so.
So for the fantasy football, you have to really pick. Do you pick one team or do you pick several?
No, you pick players on anybody who's available on
Okay.
a roster. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's mostly offense. It's quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, kickers, and defense.
I'm just looking here at what I have on Zeke. There was some controversy on
He's
Ezekiel.
in Cabo. You should hold that just so
Yeah.
people can.
Yeah, wasn't there some controversy on Zeke? What happened?
That he held out
Yeah, last year. Something happened.
last
Didn't
year.
he get in trouble? Get arrested? Something?
Oh, there was some stories going around about some domestic violence, I think.
Oh,
with
yeah,
a
that's
girlfriend
what it
that
was.
happened way back in
Yes.
Ohio State days, I think. Yeah.
And they were trying to dig it up.
Yeah, and he was suspended. I think the league suspended him for a couple of games.
So he's a holdout in a contract dispute
Correct.
right now?
Yeah. Well, he's under contract. He's got 2 more years on his contract, but
Okay.
he wants to be paid top running back money.
Rookie Tony Pollard and veteran Alfred Morris
Yeah.
would like to get the bulk of the carries if Elliott remains absent. Head coach Jason Garrett said, quote, "You focus on the guys who are here after the practice." The Cowboys will be home tomorrow night to meet Tampa Bay in their preseason finale at AT&T Stadium.
Right.
And then they're going to open the regular season on September 8th
With the Giants.
against the Giants.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the holdout thing, I mean, he wants to be paid like one of the top running backs. I mean, Todd Gurley, I think, is the top paid running back, and he's looking for that kind of money. They're trying to give him top 5 money, I think. I don't know if he'll hold out for the whole thing. I would think that at some point they'll get it done. I mean, hopefully they'll get it done.
So do you, looking into the crystal ball, do you feel promising that the Cowboys are going to do halfway decent?
Yeah,
They'll make it to the playoffs?
Well, they have to have him. I
Yeah.
mean, without him, I mean, those guys, the one guy's a rookie, Tony Pollard. The other
Yeah.
guy, Alfred Morris, has been a journeyman through the NFL with a lot of different teams. So they need him as the running guy because he's one of the top backs in the NFL. So he makes everybody better on the team. So
Isn't
they'll
that
need him, to do well.
Well, how do you feel about the Patriots? How do you feel about...
I like the Patriots, just like everyone else. I mean, I'm not a Patriot fan. I have a brother that lives up there, and he's now a Patriot fan. But just like everybody else, I mean, after teams keep winning, I mean, people hated the Cowboys. They probably still do. They hate or love the Cowboys because they used to win all the time. They used to win a lot.
Yeah.
The people, do they love and hate the Yankees? Yeah, because they win a lot.
Right.
Now I think the Patriots are in that category.
Yeah.
We've
heard that about the Steelers.
Yeah, they had the steel curtain years and all that, but I think the Patriots now we've seen them win. Okay,
Sure.
Maybe we're a little tired of it. Maybe we get some new blood in there. But I mean, it's hard to beat Tom Brady and that whole organization. I mean, from a football fan perspective, pretty impressive.
Would you get worried if the Cowboys were going up against the Pats?
Would I
you
get
be
worried?
concerned?
No, they'd have a good shot to beat them.
You would?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be worried.
All right.
I'd be worried if you started throwing stats at me.
The Jets and the
Because-
Colts have agreed to a trade that sends Indianapolis cornerback Nate Hairston to New York for a 6th-round pick in next year's NFL draft. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Probably didn't.
That seems to me like a very small move. Well, the big move there was Andrew Luck retiring.
Yes.
That came out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
And that's gonna change a lot of fantasy drafts for people
Right.
because people had him high. Now,
Of course.
yeah.
And what was it? What did I read this morning? That he got booed
He got booed because
when he walked off.
Yeah,
the
I heard
field.
that. Yeah.
And Gronkowski is really kind of ticked off that he got booed.
I
Gronk was
agree
like,
with-
"Come on, man!"
I agree with that. I mean, what do you want the guy to do? The guy, football's a violent sport.
Right.
He's trying to make sure that he's got a family.
Yeah.
I mean, his
Oh,
body
yeah.
has taken
So much.
in a short span of time. I mean, so you can't fault the guy for that.
Big health study that was published this morning talking about NFL football players who have erectile dysfunction from being hit so many times.
Is that right?
Low testosterone and ED as a result. Big study
That's
in the
a new-
Health Journal.
That's a new study, not to mention the brain
Yeah,
injury. Wow.
came out this morning.
Holy cow.
Saw it this morning.
Hmm.
So the deal on Hairston Wednesday is pending a physical exam, but he's a 5th-rounder out of Temple and played in 27 games with the Colts, including 11 starts. Has 1 career interception and 2 sacks. You got any boys that are dialed into that in your fantasy football?
Well, I don't know. Is that defense you just talked about?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Fantasy football is based around offensive players. I mean, you do
Is
have
that
a
what it
defense.
is?
Yeah, you do have a defense. Most leagues will play, and in our league, it's a little different because we start 2 quarterbacks. It's
Okay.
2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a flex player, which could be a running back, receiver, or tight end,
Yeah.
kicker, and defense. And it's based mostly on offense. And then you have a scoring system based. Your league has a scoring system based on those players.
Okay.
So it's 6 points for a touchdown, just like you would in the NFL. A lot of leagues have 4 points for a touchdown. You get points for yardage. So if a running back gets so much yardage, you get points for that. It's 1 point every 10 yards. Receivers get 1 point every 10 receiving yards.
So when you're watching a game, are you watching it with a pen?
No, we don't have to anymore. We used to. because back in the old days before the internet,
You had to track everything.
USA Today
Ah.
on Monday morning you'd have to get the Tuesday. Now Monday you'd have to get the USA Today for the Sunday games.
Okay.
Tuesday you'd have to get it and you'd have to go because it would have all the stats. It would have the box score there for you, and you'd have to go and see, okay, how many yards did Tom Brady throw for, and it would be there, and you'd then have to add up the points. So we added up everything
Wow.
that way, which was kind of a pain.
Wow.
Now there's websites. We have a website through CBS Sports.
So you can actually sit and watch the game.
In your players, and the points get counted automatically through our website through CBS. It's still Fantasy Football League, but it's through CBS Sports.
So do you have the internet up while you're watching the game?
Sometimes, if that gets a little bit. I mean, a lot of times you're not even watching. You're just kind of watching the game. If you're watching your favorite team or whatever, you're not really paying attention to the other players that you have on your team.
Wow.
But you might log on. Now it's so easy. You just log on the phone.
Yeah.
You go to the app.
Right.
And you see how you're doing. Okay, well, I'm losing by 30 points. Okay, whatever. You got 3 more players left, so you can come back if you need to. But, I mean, some people, I don't know if maybe back in the old days, we might have been a little bit more intense with it.
Yeah.
And you might have the computer up and see, how your players are doing, but not now. It's just fun to be in a league that's been around for so long, and the camaraderie that we have.
Sure.
I mean, I've known these guys 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Do
and we still get together our drafts are not. A lot of people do drafts via the computer,
Right.
where it's a draft where you're doing it on the computer,
With
but
people
you're at
from
home.
out of states from out of state and whatnot. You guys all get together.
Yeah, we all get together. We have a draft night, and we all get together on draft night, which is going to be the Wednesday, September 4th.
Okay.
And we'll all get together. A lot of people just do it online from home. We don't. We all get together, and we have a big draft board. You go up and you write the player that you want to draft.
Now, whose house is?
It's at an establishment,
And-
usually one of the establishments in Stowe.
So you get some bubbly going.
Oh yeah.
Good for
Grimrocks is going to be our place this year. Yeah,
Really?
Grimrocks in Stowe. Yeah.
So they're
Because
prepared for you.
one of the guys in the league is the manager there, and he's going to put out a nice food spread for us.
God.
And we'll draft it at his place. Yeah, at their establishment.
Now, if you were to get a flat tire on the way to draft,
I would
night,
call you. You would drive me to draft night, and you would wait for me until I got done.
What would you do if your car were to break down? You're on your way to draft night.
Yeah.
Got to be there.
I would probably call one of my other buddies and say, "Hey, can you give me a ride?"
Yeah. What if no one was available to give you a ride? Would you get out and walk?
It depended on where I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I would most likely they would hold up the draft for me. Most likely, because you know why? Because I'm the treasurer, and I handle all the money.
Really?
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
I've been the treasurer for almost 29 years, I think. The first couple of years were a little dicey. People would pay money, nobody got paid back.
Oh.
We were all younger, we were all a little stupid, and we don't know where the money probably went to, whatever. Back in the day, some fun drugs here and there.
Right.
Nobody got
Sure.
paid, so the league almost folded. And until they made me the treasurer, not to pat myself on the back, but I didn't even want it. I didn't want to be treasurer because I was new to Stowe. I was new to the league, but apparently I was the only one they trusted because the money was flying up somebody's nose or whatever was going on. So nobody got paid the first 2 years, so nobody wanted to be in anymore. And they said, well, if Frankie takes care of the money, will you guys still want to do it? And I'm like, I don't want to take care of the money. I don't want to do that.
Right.
But they said, no, we trust you. You take care of the money. So I've been doing that for the last 29 years. Everybody gets paid now. And
Now, do you guys do some of you get together? Do you like to watch football?
yes, we used to. We don't do as much because we've all gotten older. So we kind of have mellowed out in our old age. In the beginning, we would have football parties.
Okay.
Somebody would host a party. We'd go over to their house.
Yeah.
We'd have brunch. We'd have mimosas. We'd have
Wow.
Bloody Marys, big
Wow.
breakfast, read the Sunday paper, and get ready for the game.
Wow.
And we'd hang out and watch, a couple of games together.
Do you
Yeah.
like to watch football with friends? Do you like to have them come over? and
I
watch?
do sometimes. Sometimes I like to watch the game,
Alone.
alone or with just
So
a neighbor.
you
or
can
something.
concentrate more.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you're with a lot of people, if you do want to watch the game, it's like Super Bowl parties.
Right.
I mean, all the Super Bowl parties I went to, I don't remember the games at all.
See?
Because there's just too much going on around you. So obviously, if somebody's a Patriot fan and they're going to want to watch they're probably going to want to watch it so they can concentrate on the game.
Right.
If the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl,
Yeah, I was going to ask you
I would
that.
watch it at home.
Alone.
Right. Or with a neighbor. I wouldn't watch with a group of people. Too much conversation. You can't watch the game. Really?
Right.
You wouldn't be able to concentrate on the game.
What was your favorite Super Bowl of those 3 in the 90s for the Cowboys?
The first one, because they hadn't won in such a long time. And they beat the Buffalo Bills, and it wasn't even close. So I didn't have to sweat anything out.
How did you feel when the Eagles finally won a Super Bowl?
I was happy for them.
You were happy for them.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not.
Well, that's where you're from.
Right. I'm a football fan, but it's not like my team has to win or else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think Carson Wentz is a great quarterback. Kind of looks like the Prince, doesn't he? Prince there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, the local teams we always kind of followed them, the Eagles and the Steelers, but they weren't my favorite team. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another way to enjoy the game. I mean, there's fantasy baseball, there's fantasy NASCAR racing,
Yeah.
there's fantasy golf.
Yeah.
I mean, there's fantasy everything now.
I remember I
so-
called you one time, and I think the Cowboys were playing, and you didn't answer the phone.
How did you know I was home? Or maybe I wasn't home.
Well, I'm assuming that you were home,
Well, I could have been watching the game anywhere.
and you didn't answer the phone. And it finally hit me. I'm like, of course he's not answering the phone. I think I was watching a Cowboys game, and something happened.
Oh, and you wanted
It was
to,
a great play.
to bust me?
I wanted to. I don't know if I wanted to get your take on it, or if I had a question for you. Should that be? Or it was a bad call, whatever. I called you. You didn't even answer the phone.
I knew it was you. I
Watching
had
the
caller
game.
ID, and I know he wants to bother me, so I'm not going to answer the phone. If I was watching a movie, I wouldn't answer it if you called.
So the big draft night's coming up
Draft night is coming up
on the 4th,
on the 4th.
and it's going to be at Rimrocks,
It's going to be at Rimrocks.
and your boys are going to be there. How many of you?
There'll be about 28.
Any girls?
There were a few girls in the league a couple of times.
They're allowed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had one team that was all girls.
Okay.
That was back probably early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if
But
somebody wants to join the Stowe Fantasy Football League?
there's no room. We have 14 teams. One team would have to drop out. You might be able to join if a lot of us have partners. Like there's 2 guys to a team. So Tom McLeod is my partner, and we would split any winnings.
Yeah.
So we split the franchise. Most guys in the league have 2 people on their team. So it's a team of 2.
Okay.
So that's where you get 14 teams, 28 people, and yeah.
Does Tom know his shit?
Tom helps me a little bit. He likes the camaraderie with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you rely on him?
a little bit. I've been doing it so long that, I mean, he doesn't know it as well as I do. So he'll make some suggestions here and there, and some are good, and others, it's not the right time for that.
Sherilyn is watching this right now.
Is she watching right now?
And she's
She's probably
shaking
busting it. What's the word
her
for
head.
it? Is she shaking her like? How can he be wasting
She's-
his time on that?
Just shaking her head.
Well, maybe she should go have another crumpet or whatever.
I think it's great, healthy fun, man.
Is
And
it?
if you can make a dime off it, that's great. Would you consider, if there was space that opened up and became available,
Like if Tom left my team?
if Tom left your team, let's say hypothetically, would you consider me being a replacement for Tom to come in
I
and
think we
help?
talked about that before, and I think the answer was no. Because I just, I mean, you'd be telling me to draft somebody to be a baseball player. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. No, maybe I would. I would to take your money.
You would.
Yeah. I mean, you could be a partner if you like. Just give me give me the half. Give me half of 275.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could be a partner. You
Will
could be a silent partner.
will there be a license plate border of the Cowboys on your new car?
No, it won't be. Yeah, I won't go that far.
Is that far?
Yeah.
Is that too far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that kind of fan where everything is has to be decked out in cowboy.
Have you ever
garb.
seen the NFL franchise condoms?
I have not. Did not know they had them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Saw some cowboy condoms one time.
Really?
Almost bought them for you.
Get out of here.
Almost.
Now that is interesting.
Listen,
Cowboy condom.
there's no limit to fanship.
No, are they thin skin or what are they?
I don't know.
Little nubblies? What are they? What do you got? Well, you can't bring it up and just leave it.
What's next? We only have a couple minutes left here. What's next?
Have we talked an hour?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No.
Wow. That went by fast.
What's next for Frankie Allen? Are you going to start a fantasy football podcast? Yes or no? Answer.
No, I don't have time right now.
What?
I don't have time right now. I think you should bring me back as a guest. Like, we did the beginning of the season, mid-season, end of season kind of thing.
I would
Wrap
love
things
to.
up, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Because you want to know who my team is, right?
Now, of course I do.
Who's on my team?
Yeah.
In case
Now,
I haven't-
is Dan playing? Is he part of?
Dan Noyes?
Yeah.
No, he was a partner at one point.
Okay, but he's out.
Yeah, he got
So
too busy.
So could you bring one of your hooligans to come in here with you?
Possibly. We'd have to schedule it out, but we might be able to get another person in.
Or maybe McLeod.
Or maybe Tom McLeod, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody else from the league.
All right.
Yeah. That might be fun.
Listen, I've heard from a lot of folks that they miss hearing your voice on 101 The One.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear.
You've been there for a long
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and I'm happy for you that you've taken on some new endeavors.
Thank you.
And
I mean, I might do some spot work here and there. You might hear me every once in a while
yeah.
on the radio.
So
but,
I see how it is. You get out of programming, you get into radio sales, and then poof, you got the new car.
Yeah, well, I went on vacation in Maine too, so you
Hey, how was
you
that?
got
By
to
the
take
way,
care of you got to spend it on yourself first.
how was that? By the way,
It was great. Went to Wells.
you did.
Yeah. Right on the ocean. Our
What's the name of the
place was
hotel you
right-
stayed in?
Lafayette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You been there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a
Well, I know where it
Condensed donut
is.
this morning.
Did you have
What did you have for
condensed
breakfast this morning?
Oh, my
Condensed donut.
Oh.
Had a blueberry fritter.
Did you go to the food truck event right in the
We did not.
Condens parking
We
lot?
did not. We just went to get some donuts. We went to Mike's Clam
Oh yeah,
Shack.
Mike's
You been
Clam
there?
Shack. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good.
Wells is
And the
great.
place that's right on Wells there's a little snack bar.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
It's such a cool area.
It's a great
Gunquit
place.
and York
Yeah.
and all that.
And it's not that far.
No,
3.5. Beautiful. We had beautiful weather. It was great.
that's
Loved
great.
It. Yeah. Loved
I
it.
was gonna add, I saw some pictures on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if folks want to reach out to you, very easy to find you on Facebook. It's
Sure.
just Frankie Allen.
Sure. That's it.
That's it.
I don't know if they'd want advice because I've only won one championship in 2 championships in 31 years, so I don't know
Right.
if they'd want any advice. But
I love you.
I don't know what I'm doing. I just picking players and you hope for the best,
I'm
like
so
everyone else.
I'm so happy that you finally came in
This
here
has been fun.
to see what this is about.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, it's kind of like
like
a radio talk show
Yeah.
with the cameras are going.
Yeah, I love it. Very nice.
Yeah. So you're gonna
Air it out.
you're gonna come and hang out with me when I get over to FGB theaters again?
Absolutely.
We got
That
a,
was fun.
Well, yeah, we
What's-
got a Bruce Springsteen movie
Is
that's
that
coming
coming
up. Yeah, I'll be there for that.
When is that out?
I don't know. I think it's in November.
Wow. Who's playing? Do we know? Is it a documentary or is it actually a movie?
I don't know.
Wow.
I think it's a documentary.
Okay. That sounds
But,
cool.
I'll be there for that.
All right. Sounds good.
I got to study up on it before then.
All right. Listen,
So-
if you need any other football advice, let me know.
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Nice to see you.
I'm so glad you came
nice
in.
to see you, brother.
And
It's always a pleasure.
thanks to CW Print and Design, one of my sponsors, and they do all kinds of stuff for me, Frankie. They do everything.
You got a nice group of sponsors, by
And,
the way.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Fontaine Forestry and Millworks up on Route 14, just below the Bragg Farm.
Yep.
Mark Fontaine. Look at this. Look at this.
Is this? I thought.
Look
Because
at
you were
this.
talking about that, and I thought, is this one of the tables?
Mark Fontaine made this.
It's gorgeous.
And look at
Look
the
at
middle.
this.
Look at the cherry.
That's awesome.
That strip of cherry going down the middle.
Beautiful.
Isn't this something?
Yeah.
Boy, they're talented up there. They got the
What's
Mark is the miser master. Mark the miser master.
really?
Oh, he's amazing.
What's with the gnome?
There's a story about the gnome,
Hmm.
and I'll tell it at some point. But
Does it have to do with Lily, maybe?
no, nothing to do with
Oh,
Lily.
Bummer.
But the gnome is here. I'll read you.
Yeah. We should probably have the gnome with the football.
We could do that.
Well,
Yeah.
The football's way over there.
Yeah,
at
we
least.
got the gnome going,
There we go.
and
Yeah, there it is.
yeah,
Look how shiny that helmet is.
Oh, yeah. And my other presenting sponsor now, Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance out of Orange.
Oh.
They do
Wow.
landscaping, the lawn mowing. They'll build stone walls for you.
Clearing. They do all that?
Clearing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're
They'll
amazing.
be getting into plow season. Not too
They
far,
do.
Right? Yeah.
They do everything.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Jason Gauthier, Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance. My other presenting sponsor.
Nice.
So yeah, and of course we got cruise planners.
Mm-hmm.
Yourvoyageplanner.com. Donna's going to be in here at some point, hopefully soon. She's getting ready for some winter vacations that she's booking. And
Good.
yeah, we got some.
Never too early for that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Super.
pop in again.
I will.
Tell me
Thanks for
what's-
having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks for just carving out some time. And,
Buddy.
just talking.
It's your schedule
Yeah.
that I try to follow.
I was a little bit more open now.
Stay in touch with me.
I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Frankie Allen aired out this time around on a. Is it a Wednesday?
It is
night?
Wednesday the
God,
28th.
it's already
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fantasy football going to be kicking into high gear here. The NFL football season starting on Thursday night,
Thursday
September
the 5th, I believe.
5th.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's coming up real
And
soon.
then of course Sunday and full games on Sunday. The first full schedule of NFL Sunday, and then of course Monday night you got football.
Next
Yeah.
podcast, I'm going to give everyone your home phone number and tell them to call you during every football game.
Who should I take at round 7? Whatever.
We'll catch you next time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Watch out for rain on the big road tonight if you're traveling, and we'll catch you real soon. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks to Billy, my new producer here at Central Vermont Television, CVTV723.org. We'll catch you real soon.